at TonySpicks.com for 2024 as well as 2023. And that's Joseph Schultz. You'll find his screenplays over at TonySpicks.com. Let's bring Joseph in right now, ready to roll here for the card here on Wednesday. Joseph, what's going on?
Hey, Tony. I'm still trying to recover from that Nuggets. That Nuggets game got me.
I think you got to kind of hold that to your vest because that line opened too high, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got it at 4. I got the best of the number, but oh man.
Yeah, I think the odds makers kind of. I think I thought about that. I said, Denver, Minnesota should, that's a big number there, with Denver here laying 4. I was like, man, or Minnesota, that was some number there to lay that Denver definitely, it was a home game for Minnesota. That's the one thing that kind of worried me about that.
Right, Minnesota is going to be a tough out at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I was looking at that number. I said, man, that is getting up there. But again, I think what happens, people were I think the odds makers were not following their computer numbers, but they were going by the spot, which you very rarely see. Because I noticed they don't always look at home court advantage. They don't always look at spots. But I think what they saw their computer numbers said, screw that. Let's go on the spot.
Right.
So that was something that kind of seemed a little, especially because the power rating for Minnesota has been so high at home, especially with their defense.
Yeah, I'm just surprised at how well they played, especially with Naz Reid not being in the game.
Yeah, that was definitely surprising. Of course, the late news on Anthony Edwards coming in because he had that dislocated finger. That was a concern, but. That's that's the NBA for you there, right? That's how it rolls. Close win for Denver. We're looking for the better results, a little bit more. I was hoping for -1 Denver minus. I thought that was a little too high on the open. That's all, but that's how it rolls. Yeah. But anyway, we'll start. Today's a new day. Time to get this one back. So we'll start here in the NBA. We've seen some line moves, lots of injury news, but we'll get started here with Pacers and Pistons. Pacers now up to 10.5, total 235.5.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Just for the sake of saying it, anyone that is going to probably be on a favorite, especially a heavy favorite, this time of year, you really want to try to get that the night before because these lines are just going to get bigger and bigger. Now, Detroit has been really good as double-digit underdogs, especially at home. Before the Celtics loss, they covered against the Clippers, the Thunder, and the Bucks twice as home double-digit underdogs. Isaiah Stewart will be out. Simone Fontecchio is questionable. If you're going to back the Pistons in this game, you probably want to make sure that he's going to play. He's become a pretty important part of the team. He has had bad games here and there, but he's just really good. Like I said, he's an important part of the team. The Pacers are the 4th best team coming off a loss, 18-11-2 against the spread. They are coming off a bad loss here, too, against a depleted Cavs team. The Pacers are 3-0 against Detroit straight up and against the spread this season. They won by double digits in 2 out of the 3 games. The only game they didn't, it was a terrible spot for them. They had just came back from the play-in tournament. They were laying 7.5 on the road. They end up winning the game by 8 and just barely covering. Halliburton's been in a big slump, really bad. His numbers are matching his jump shot form right now. That was a big reason why they lost to the Pistons, to the Cavs that last game. They came out, they looked really good. I've been predicting the Pacers finish the season strong. They just got to break out of this shooting slump. This is a bounce back spot for the Pacers. They should come out this game pretty mad after what happened last game. I don't know about laying double digits on the road to a scrappy Detroit team while your best player is in a shooting slump. It's a close call, but I would lean towards the Pistons at home getting double digits here.
All right, Joseph Schultz, top unit producer at TonySpace.com. Leans here, Pistons here, the home underdog, at plus the 10.5 points. All right, let's continue on here. Guys, looking for Joseph's best bets? Just click the link in the description that lands you on his handicapper page and get signed up. All right, next up here on our NBA rundown here for the game here on Wednesday, we got Heat and Cavaliers. The Cavaliers down to a 1.5 here, total 204.5.
Yeah, this is getting close to a pick 'em. The Cavs are the walking wounded right now. There's no Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Max Strus, or Dean Wade in this game. They just signed Marcus Morris Jr. to a 10-day contract a few days ago to help with some front court depth that they really need bad until they get some of their guys back. And he played really well last game too. He hit like 3 3-pointers in a row, I believe. He played really solid, so I'm sure they're happy with that, and it's much needed. Miami isn't the picture of health either, though. Duncan Robinson will miss this game. Bam Adebayo just popped up questionable this afternoon. Jimmy Butler's still questionable as well, so we don't know. Now, I did read that Jimmy Butler was seen at shoot-around, so that is a good sign for the Heat. These teams have split the 2 meetings this season. Miami won the first one. The Cavs won the most recent one. I believe the road team won both of those games, for what that's worth. These teams have been inconsistent, especially Miami. Just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10, 4-6 straight up. They haven't won consecutive games in quite a while, and their only win in those 10 games that I just talked about were to the Pistons twice and the Jazz. I lean towards the Cavs laying a small number at home. If Jimmy and or Bam end up being out, you're going to get some good closing line value. But like I said, Butler was at shoot-around. So if you like the Cavs, I might take a chance and wait a couple hours and see if we can't get this closer to a pick-em. I'm leaning towards the Cavs.
All right, Joseph Schultz at Top Unit Producer at TonySpace.com. You'll find his best bets over on our site. You'll find the link to his page in the description here. Heat and Cavaliers. He likes the Cavaliers here, laying the 1.5. All right, let's continue here on an NBA rundown here for Wednesday. All the games here on the show. Bucks and Celtics. This has been a line mover. Of course, Giannis was ruled out. Still question marks on some of the Boston side. Celtics 10.5. We even seen it move up. Actually, is it moved up even more? I'm seeing up to 10.5. I saw some 11s come down, so it's been bought back a little bit now. 10.5 to Celtics, total 225.5.
Yeah, this is what is infuriating to me about the NBA. So Giannis was questionable for when I was doing my research last night. He was questionable for most of the night. I don't know when exactly he was ruled out. I saw it when I woke up. But he didn't even travel with the team. They knew that he wasn't going to play. I don't understand why they don't just put him out to begin with. Holiday, Brown, and Hauser are all questionable for the Celtics. After a bad game against the Lakers on February 1st, the Celtics have gone 17-2. They look every bit the best team in the NBA. Boston probably uses this game as a measuring stick to gauge where they're at for the playoffs, because they've been resting players, and they haven't, to be frank, they haven't had competition. So, and I know Giannis is out, but this is still likely their Eastern Conference final opponent. Milwaukee also embarrassed them the last time they played. It was a terrible spot for the Celtics, but they led by 38 at half, and they really rubbed it in, and they end up winning the game by 33. I think Boston tries to send a message here and get in, exact some revenge at the same time. Boston is 6-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 6. They've beaten the spread, not the teams, the spread by double digits in 4 out of the last 5 games, which is ridiculous. This is a Bucks letdown spot also. If you watched last game, Giannis was ruled out. Bobby Portis especially. He had a really big game. They got up for that game. They were impressive. And I see them getting down in this game and maybe just the Celtics piling on. I think this is a Celtics smash spot. They probably win the first half spread and the game spread. I like the Celtics here.
All right, Joseph Schultz, get his best bets at Tony'sPicks.com. Bucks and Celtics, again, it's a smash spot, he says. The Celtics here laying the 10.5 points. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown here on this 8-game card for Wednesday. Next up will be Kings and Raptors. This one, another big line. Kings now up to 11, total 233.5.
Yeah, this isn't the best spot for the Kings, but there's no way I could back the Raptors, So the Kings are coming off a 6-game homestand. This will be their first game on the road in 7 games. Coming off an overtime game in Memphis, so it's a bad travel spot. They had a day off, but, they're going through customs. They're probably on the road for much of those last 24 hours, whatever it took. Whatever it's been since their last game. Toronto has just come apart, though. They lost Jakob Poeltl. Scotty Barnes has been out. RJ Barrett is dealing with a family issue, and now Emmanuel Quickley is out as well. They haven't won a game since Barnes got hurt. They're 1-9 straight up in their last 10, 0-7 in their last 7, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. This is Kings or nothing, and I think that if I don't really play parlays, I've been playing small ones with how many big favorites the NBA's had recently. So I put 2 or 3 team, favorites together, the best spots that I like, and I've been doing that the last couple of days. I don't usually do it, but for those of you using a similar strategy, I think the Kings are a great parlay piece.
All right, Joseph Schultz. You'll find his screenplays at TonySpace.com. Kings and Raptors. Kings here laying the 11. Also possibly marrying it to a money line parlay there as recommended. Let's continue here on our NBA rundown. Next up will be Jazz and Thunder. Another big line here. Thunder laying 15.5, total 232.5.
We're going to see this to the end of the season. This is I don't want to say the new NBA because it's been happening for a few years, but it's like it's getting worse and worse. More teams, bigger separation at the end of the year. Now, we're seeing favorites, huge favorites, and most of them covering as the season gets, draws to an end. The top teams are fighting for playoff positioning while the bottom teams are in full tank mode and they're battling for draft lottery odds. I see this game the same way. SGA is, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I love him. He's my favorite player. But he's stat padding, making the best case he can for the MVP. Oklahoma is tied for the 1 seed right now with Denver. So they're going to go all out for any win that they can get. And they've been doing that all year. They're a very trustworthy team. You're always going to get their best effort. Utah gave up on the season at the trade deadline. I called it then when it wasn't so obvious. They were scrappy. They were good against the spread. They were good at home. They were a potential play-in team, in my opinion, and they completely sold at the deadline. They got rid of Olynyk and Fontecchio, 2 really good pieces for any team that's looking to compete. So they've been taking well before it was obvious, and they'll continue to do so here. I lean towards laying the big number with the home team, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right, Joseph Schultz, get his best bets at TonySpace.com. Jazz and Thunder, lay the points here with the Thunder here, laying the 15.5. Possibly maybe money on parlay piece with some of these big favorites. Keep an eye there, right? That might be the play tonight, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got saved. You didn't save me from a negative day, but I got saved from a big loss yesterday because I went multiple units on Denver on the spread, but I had 3 of the big favorites parlayed together at about minus 160 for multiple units on there, and I got that done, which saved me. But yeah, you'll rarely hear me talk about parlays. I think it's very smart. You just got to be careful who you put in there. But yeah, there's definitely three favorites tonight that you could parlay, and I feel very safe.
And you're probably better with the home favorite, right? When they're home?
Right. Oh, yeah, no. I just talked about the Kings as a parlay piece. I did talk about that the spot isn't great for them. If one of these favorites would give you a scare, I think it might be the Kings. I think the Thunder roll. I think the Celtics roll. Probably forgetting a team.
The Pistons game, but the Indiana I wouldn't trust on the road at all against anybody.
No, and not with Halliburton shooting away. I got to see Halliburton get back on track before I can really, trust them to that extent.
Yeah, and just a bad road defense also there from that team.
Right.
So always keep an eye on that. Yeah, that's one thing you got to keep an eye on, guys. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown, joined by Joseph Schultz here. Clippers and Trailblazers here. Clippers 12.5 on the road, total 216.
Yeah, I wouldn't put this in my parlay. Now, I think the Clippers probably end up winning, but you don't want to put a minus 800 team in your parlay and then win a 4-point win at the end or something like that. Terrence Mann will probably play in this game. Norman Powell is questionable, and anyone that watches the Clippers knows that he can at times almost be like their best player on the court or most valuable when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are having an off game. The Clippers are just 1-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. They've played really good teams in that span, the Bucks, the Timberwolves, Pelicans, but they also have a terrible loss, 17-point loss to the Hawks mixed in there. So they are in need of a confidence-boosting win. This is also what I would consider a must-win if they want to avoid the 4th or 5th seed in the West, which would likely result in a first-round matchup with the Pelicans, which I don't know if they would make it out of that. So if they're thinking along the lines that I am, they want to avoid that. Now, Portland has been scrappy. They're 2-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons have been absolutely balling. Anthony Simons is climbing up the all-time Trailblazers list for 30-point games, and he's just a young guy. Ayton is he's come back, and he's playing like he does when he's playing for a contract. I think the Clippers, they've dominated this matchup, winning 7 straight and 9 out of the last 10. And they've gone 6-3 against the spread in their last 9 against the Trailblazers. I think the Clippers get the outright win, but 11.5, a bit too high for me to lay in this spot with the Clippers against a Portland team that has, come on recently. I would take the points with the Trailblazers here.
Can't blame me there. Clippers and Trailblazers here. Joe says go ahead and take the plus 12.5 with home underdog. Portland Trailblazers against this Clippers team, which looks like a completely different team since the post-All-Star break. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown, joined by Joseph Schultz. Guys, remember, click the link in the description. You'll find Joseph's handicapper page. You'll find all his pick offerings. He is the top unit producer at TonySports.com for 2023 and 2024. Nearly 6,000 units of profit for 14-plus months here on the site. Man, outstanding performance. Let's continue here on our NBA rundown, and boy, I got to tip my cap off to Joseph when he alerted everybody about Desmond Bane coming back, and the Grizzlies have covered. Boy, under the hat, people, you got to. Boy, again, he uncovered a diamond in the rough there. Grizzlies at Warriors. Warriors 11, total 219.
You know what? And I don't think that the books have adjusted. I really don't. Now, the Warriors have had some really bad losses recently. I don't think there's no way they should be laying 11 points here. They lost outright as home favorites to the Bulls on March 7th. They lost outright to the Spurs without Wembanyama as 12.5-point favorites on March 9th. And they just lost outright as 6.5-point home favorites to the Knicks, where the Knicks led wire to wire. I watched that whole game. And they didn't have OG Anunoby, which any Knicks fan knows he's such a big part of our team. And now, like I said, now you're going to lay double digits to a Grizzlies team who has Desmond Bane back. They're playing Jaren Jackson Jr. now. Memphis just covered as double digits. They just covered double-digit spreads against the Thunder and the Kings on the road in the last 2 games. Memphis has also been good on the road against the spread, going 20-14, and good in the underdog role as well, going 29-23. It's too many points to lay with the inconsistent Warriors team. I lean towards the Grizzlies with the points.
There we go. Joe Schultz will find his screenplays over at TonySpace.com. Grizzlies and Warriors here. Take the Warriors here, plus 11. Remember, Jaren Jackson, you've got Desmond Bane in there. G.G. Jackson, if he plays up to NBA form, can give you some points. Scrappy, you think defense with Memphis, but when you bring Bane in the equation, it changes it completely here with this, especially paired there with Jaren Jackson. It's a completely different looking team here. They're plus 11 here against the Golden State Warriors. All right, next one up here will be the 76ers and Suns going head-to-head here. Suns 9, the total sits here 223.
The Suns are just 2-3 straight up in their last 5, but those 3 losses were to the Bucks and the Celtics twice. So, it's not as bad as it looks. And even one of that Bucks loss, they were in a terrible spot as well. So, they had just played a back-to-back, and they needed to travel to play a day game. So they didn't even get the full 24 hours rest. It was, like 18 or 19 hours when you go from a night game back-to-back and then you play a day game. It was the 4th game of an East Coast road trip for them as well. The 76ers are lacking paint protection now, besides Mo Bamba, who they just started putting in the starting lineup. The Suns should get to the rim with ease in this, and I think it's a bounce-back spot. This could also be a letdown spot for Philly after 2 straight wins at home and getting up for what ended up being the Kyle Lowry revenge game versus the Heat last game. It's a little hard for me to trust the Suns laying 9, but I think they bounce back here. I think they play well on offense, and I don't see Philly being able to keep up with the scoring. I think the Suns can win this game by double digits as long as they just keep the defense playing well. I lean towards the Suns.
All right, Joseph Schultz, find his premium plays at TonySpace.com. Find the link in the description. 76ers and Suns. He likes here the Suns here at laying the 9 points. All right, we got through this NBA card. In-game NBA card here for action on Wednesday. So, Joseph, let's turn our attention over at TonySpace.com for Wednesday's action. We still have the NBA card to start. A lot of college hoops tonight as we're still into the play-in round here from NCAA tournament as well. Of course, Joseph enjoying a fantastic results here. All sports combined, 5,926 units of profit. You can verify that by clicking the handicapper link in there in the description. That'll take you to Joseph's handicapper page. You can verify all those numbers right up there. All right, Joseph, heading into a big week. What do you have going over at Tony's Picks?
Yeah, today's going to be a little slow because with all the big favorites in the line movement, I don't want to give you guys the worst of the numbers. And I do think that most of these big favorites are obviously going to win the game, but if not cover, it'll be really close. So I don't want to give you guys. Try to give you guys all plays that are, that I see with at least a few points of value. Now, there's a game in the NBA that I absolutely love. We may have a couple, but coming up in the next few days, I'm already diving into the big tournament. Of course, we have NIT and everything like that. So it's going to be a big next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. Baseball starting, I'm diving into that right now. So it's been really busy. Today, like I said, today's not going to be huge. We'll have the best bet out of the NBA, and I do like it, or I wouldn't put it out. I try to be more like a sniper, the quality over quantity. But like I said, coming up in the next few days with all this college, the MLB getting ready to start, there's going to be packages, and if you get the more long-term deals, you're going to get a lot for your money because of everything that's going on. I can still pick my spots. I don't have just the NBA and a little bit of college. I'm going to have, the baseball, the tournament, and NBA playoffs coming. So we'll have days where there's 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 or 9 picks, and they're still all going to have the same quality as the 2 or 3 that I'm giving out daily now.
That's right, guys. Get over Joseph over at Tony'sPicks.com. Again, we'll flash the results up here. It's been outstanding here. 1,526 units of profit for Joseph here over the past 2 years. And, of course, click the link in the description. Get on over to Joseph's Handicapper page, and you'll be able to find his selections for today, premium plays. And, of course, we'll save you some money when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You can access Joseph's page by clicking the link you see in the description, and you'll land right here, right on his Handicapper page. Of course, remember the long-term passes. You want to try them up 7 days. That'll cover the NCAA tournament all the way until we whittle it down to 16 teams, all the NBA in there as well. So no better time than now to go ahead and get signed up. All right, Joseph, as always, great having you show. Continue that great success, and we'll catch up with you for tomorrow's games.
All right, thanks, Tony. I'll see you later on.
You got it. Joe Schultz, I'm Tony T. We'll talk to you guys